Good morning. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau says his government will work to convince the administration of U.S. President Donald Trump his steel and aluminum tariffs would have a negative effect on both countries. Trump signed an executive order Monday to implement 25% tariffs on all steel and aluminum imports into the United States beginning on March the 12th. This has left Canadian steel and aluminum manufacturers shocked. Joining us now from the Canadian Manufacturers and Exporters Association, or CME, is Tery Shaw. Good morning, Tery.
Good morning.
Thanks for joining us. Now, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau did say these tariffs on steel and aluminum imports are, quote, unacceptable and unjustified. What do you think?
We echo those sentiments completely. Yeah, we don't understand the ongoing tariff threats, especially the upcoming imposition of these tariffs on steel and aluminum. It just doesn't make any sense to us.
What will these tariffs mean to Manitoba's economy?
So not a lot, with a huge asterisk on that. I think we ship about $200 million a year worth of steel into the United States. So in terms of our whole of economy, not a huge number. That said, the asterisk is all of that comes from one facility just north of us here in Selkirk, Manitoba. Hundreds of jobs, hundreds of families in one community, very dramatically and negatively impacted. And you see that kind of across the sector, across the country. And so that's our concern in regards to these tariffs, what they mean to these individual communities and these individual segments of the manufacturing sector.
Trudeau said in Paris this morning that Canada's response would be firm and clear. What do you think Canada should do as a response?
Unfortunately, again, we have to go tariff for tariff. So while we don't want to see increasing costs on both sides of the border, retaliatory tariffs are a measure that we are promoting.
What can we do as Manitobans, as Canadians, to help the industry?
Well, I don't know that it'll help the steel industry so much. But again, we have been promoting Buy Canadian, look for those Made in Manitoba and Made in Canada labels. In terms of steel and aluminum, we've been talking, and it's a bit longer term, around interprovincial trade barriers, looking for different markets for our products so that we can diversify away from our reliance on the United States. And one of the ways we can consider doing that as well, that we've been promoting with our government partners, is procurement reform. Billions of dollars are spent by governments at all levels every year on construction projects and other investments like that could be using Manitoba and Canadian steel and aluminum.
And Trudeau also said this morning that our government has been having initial conversations with allies. And he pointed to his upcoming visit to Brussels tomorrow, where he will meet with EU leaders, and said there is a coordination to be done. Is it time to build new trade partnerships with our existing allies?
Yeah, I think it's always a good time to be expanding your markets and or diversifying away from such heavy reliance on one customer. That said, just through proximity and size, we'll always be trading partners with the U.S., and we need to remember that. They are being a little aggressive in terms of their trade policy, but we need to know that they will be our trading partners for many, many years to come, as they have been for many, many years already. We will get through this. This is a point in time. So while we do need to look at diversifying, we do also need to maintain ongoing, relations with the U.S., not only at the government level, but at the supplier and customer level, and at the personal level as well. So we have been encouraging ongoing conversations in the U.S. as well as elsewhere.
Because we know that this will lead to obviously huge losses here in Manitoba and Canada, but it'll also affect employment in the U.S., right?
Absolutely. Again, we build things together. We don't sell each other finished products in large scale. Over 60% of what we import from the United States is a manufacturing input, is an intermediate input, and over half of what we ship to them is an intermediate input as well. We don't trade based on finished goods. We build things together, and I think that's often getting lost in these conversations, especially from U.S. policymakers. And so we appreciate the opportunity to remind everybody of that.
All right. Well, Tery, thank you for giving us some newly acquired perspective on this issue, as this story is obviously evolving very quickly. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.